submit the claims, the system does a quick first check. And then we tell the provider, you brought 5,000 claims, the system is rejecting 300 right at the beginning. Either the membership numbers, there are issues with it. You have the choice to take the whole batch back, sort it out and resubmit. Or some of them will say, listen, I don't care, 300, let it go. And then we upload it and then begin to process it. And then for the e-claims, of course, there's no storage, no archiving. We're not paying any warehouse fees and all that. On top of that, when there's a dispute, they can easily go and look at the actual claims because the report will tell you. So you can go back and look at the individual claims to see where the errors were that you lost money from. Whereas the paper claims, it's a lot harder. They write to us, we get the box from archives, sort through, sit with them. But this is a lot easier because they can look at it at their end and really see where the mistakes are. And yes, there are disputes sometimes. They bring the patient's folders here, or we take the claims there, pull out the patient's folders, and then we sit and discuss. If we've made a mistake, we'll give you the money back. If they have accept that they've made a mistake, then the deduction stands. And we are not mean. No matter what some of the providers say, there's room for dialogue, and there is maybe once every 2 weeks at least, we have a provider here with folders that we sit and dialogue over the claims. Okay, any questions, clarifications, issues? And then my friend was talking about technology. The paper claims everywhere in the world, there's always some few percentage who never go computer. We have scanners that we do high-speed scanning, and then it goes on the screen for some data entry clerks to enter them into the electronic system. So we can quickly look at that, and then I think that will be the end of the talk.
So those images as captured will then go on to the next process of our electronic claims process. These are high-end server farm that does the processing of our electronic claims. The electronic claims is available 24/7 online and is accessible by our providers online 24/7. This server farm is backed up by our head office server farms to offer redundancy. Should we have a failure here, there's a failover to the head office that offers continuous business services to our clients. We have high capacity storage service that actually archive our claims, and we're looking about 15 terabytes of information that is archived of our service here. As I indicated, the head office gives us a backup and data recovery services for our services here. Yes, we are upbeat, and as Dr. Selby indicated, we are ready for our facilities to come on board electronic claims.
We've taken you around the claims processing center. As we told you at the beginning, 80% of our income goes into paying claims to providers, and that is a lot of money. So as an institution, the decision has been taken to really focus on getting that part right if we want to be financially sustainable. And that is why we have the 4 claims processing centers. We have taken maybe about 70% of the claims across the country. And by the end of this year, hopefully all claims produced in this country will be processed at one of our claims processing centers. We've taken you through how tedious manual claims processing is. Most countries doing health insurance are doing electronic claims. But at the end of the day, they all started with manual, just as we have. So it's a process, a curve that we are on. 12% of our claims are electronic, and hopefully we'll keep building on that until we get to about 90-95%, and then we can handle the 5% manual claims. So when you hear reports of this, that and the other, now you've seen with your own eyes the absolute truth of what goes on with the claims processing, and you can debunk some of the myths out there. If there are any questions between us, I'm sure we can answer them.
I want to find out that people the first of all, you've seen all the medicines on the claims forms.
I think you all saw examples of the claims forms and the number of medicines on them. Health insurance doesn't only pay for paracetamol or bogus drugs. We have about 600 medicines on there, and the providers probably don't even use about 300 of them. So there's a lot more they don't use that is on the list. So again, that's another myth you can debunk.
What are some of the common mistakes that you find on these claim forms?
Sometimes there's no diagnosis at all. They don't put the biodata of the patient. The wrong treatment for the diagnosis they've written. The medicines they've written don't have anything to do with the diagnosis they've put there. Sometimes they use the wrong tariffs. You know, you're a clinic and somehow you want to bill us as if you're a hospital. Sometimes some diagnosis becomes fashionable, like cerebral malaria, and then all the children, they write cerebral malaria when we know it is a rare, very dangerous disease and doesn't happen that often. And then, but because the cost of it is maybe 3 times the cost of normal malaria and things like that. They write medicines, expensive medicines that they've never bought or stocked. If we see a recurring pattern, you go there, you check, you ask, where did you buy it from? Then they put up their hands and say, well, we've never bought it. So these are some of the things we see.
And how much have you been able to save as a result of the claims processing?
Last year, we saved about 11%, and considering the bill is about 1 billion, please do the maths. It'll be 110 million or more.
Yeah, that's a quick one. We've talked about the mistakes or the errors. It is not the case like it is a general sense. So can we emphasize that not all?
Oh no, we have many providers who you process their claims and there isn't even 1 peso deduction. But we will take even 1 peso. I signed a payment request where we deducted, I think, 35 pesos from the provider's claim. So every peso counts. However, there are a lot of providers now who, when you vet their claims, there's no deduction at all.
So those deliberate forged claims, what do you do to them?
At the moment, we take our money back unless it is obvious that it is a deliberate fraudulent act. And then we gather the evidence and pass it to CID for prosecution.
This year, you said you've already prosecuted 2?
Well, the cases are still ongoing. And I have one long-standing case from about 3 years ago that we're still going to court. Some people have been found guilty and gone to prison and all that.
But you mentioned this process as one of the causes of the delays.
What?
This process, the claims processing.
I think the delays come from 2 sides. One can be from the provider side. The provider may see a patient, keep the claim for longer time. So that can also delay the process. Sometimes they keep their bills for 3 months and over. Then they bring it, the next day they are on the media saying that I've not been paid for the past 4 months. You know, the claims were brought only yesterday. So that is one side of it. Here the claims don't delay. At least we are now doing about 45 days to clear claims that come in. So
our target is 80% must be processed within 60 days. And 3 of the CPCs are definitely meeting that target.
Would it be faster if everybody was electronic, everything was electronic?
It would be. It would be, but yeah, there's also the payment part, which also adds a little extra time to it. The processing for payment at the head office. So there are a lot of factors involved.
About the electronic, who is responsible for setting up the systems at the hospitals? Is it the National Health Insurance?
No, the hospitals themselves.
Have you tried to motivate them to perhaps?
Yes, we pay them ahead of those who do manual claims.
But it still seems they are not so keen on that.
Yeah, because the Ghana Health Service, for instance, doesn't have ICT staff, so it's difficult for their hospitals. It's not something that the health sector has invested in, ICT. So it's only now that they've realized that this is something worth doing, and they're beginning to do it. Secondly, they don't want to put in an ICT system just for health insurance's sake. If they're going to do it, they have to take their time and do it such that it benefits the hospital in total. Yeah. So they are taking their time to get it right. But as I said, with what money? Me, I'm frank, with what money? If we had that kind of money lying around, we'd be doing something with it. We did help the first batch of 47 who came onto health insurance, or who came onto e-claims. NHIA helped them to get started. But again, I want to recommend Boli District Health Directorate. They have been able to put all their, even the CHIPS compounds, they have gone e-claims. And that is something that other district directorates should try and copy. I don't know where they got the money from, but they've done it, tested, and it's all going through. So if they can do it with little CHIPS compounds, then really all providers in the country can do it. About it. And we have to now be smarter. That's the way the game works. You know what I mean? When we close one loophole, they will come up with some other plan. So that's my job, to sit back and think like a criminal and begin to work out where the loopholes are and how NHIA can close them. I don't want to give some of the examples because then somebody will be listening and they will do the same thing. I know you can paper printing boxes I will share. And one is an email. And I wash my boy back. Or they are two pen drive, said 10 cities. Now they start near their ship. There's so many dream who said the long term effect. Electronically better. A hassle yembre, near for near backing kind papers now. Would buy a machine now backing, machine now by a vetting. And once I actual report I brought near to scammer. In test will be a dream who said. I said, Ghana couldn't.
It's in NHIA service providers
electronic. In himself, but all beans your baby a butcher crab, still only a paper and the HSC. But do now I won't come to one say Takra Dinia dear as woman to me electronic.